Hello gardeners. Today I'm going to show you how to take cuttings from your peach tree and turn those into 100 bare root peach plants that you can plant in your orchard and have a beautiful orchard for the seasons to come. First thing we're going to do is clean our tools. Now a critical part of taking your peach cuttings are your tools. They're very simple. All you need is a little pair of shears, but you need to clean them first so you don't transfer any microbes or fungus from other plants that you've used them on. So I just use regular 70% rubbing alcohol. Just pop the lid, open the blade so you can see both blades exposed. And I just drip it right on there. Cover both sides really good. Let it soak for about 15 seconds so it'll kill any germs. Then I take a little cleaning cloth. Always have a good towel in the yard when you're working. And wipe it down real good, pull off any excess debris that might be on there. So we got them pretty nice and clean there. Okay, first thing we want to do is find the best little cuttings that we can take. Try to find the stems that are about 6 to 8 inches long, and don't want to get the new growth if you don't have to. I want to clear out some of the old cuts, old branches, so we can get more sunlight in, get more air flowing through the plant. And that'll give us a better quality of fruit. Yeah, this tree has not been pruned since I planted it 2 seasons ago. I just let it go naturally. And you can kind of tell where the branches are crisscrossing, kind of a witch's broom is what they call it. And it's pretty cluttered. But you know, it gave me over 70 peaches last spring, so I was happy with that. I want to cut it down a little bit. Get bigger peaches, less quantity this season, see how that works. But to me, you know, doing it last year without pruning, it worked great, and we were really happy. We had a freezer full of peaches for the winter to enjoy. So I'm going to just look around for some cross branching. You see here we have pretty good crossing in this branch right here. You can actually see it. It's actually rubbing up against this other stem. I would actually prefer not to have that stem down there because it's kind of low to the ground anyway. It's going to interfere with these others. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and cut all the way back to this stem right here in just a second. But first, I'm going to collect some valuable cuttings from it that we can root for our peach bare roots. So I'm going to go about 6 or 8 inches back. You see you'll have the little nodules where the branches or blooms will come out. I'm going to go ahead and cut behind one of these right here. And I'm going to cut at an angle, 45-degree angle, and very quick, just like that. Pretty nice straight branch. This one's about 10 inches long, which is fine. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little nodules right there. And ideally, when I plant them in the little pots in a few minutes, I'd like to get 2 to 3 of those nodules beneath the soil. So when it's actually planted, it'll be like that tall. So that's what we kind of aim for. So we got our first one. I think I'm actually going to be able to get another one from that same branch before I cut it off. I'm going to go back to this. Looks like a really good, healthy one right here. 45-degree angle, quick cut. Again, 1, 2, 3 nodules to plant, minimum. I'm just going to keep making the cuts anywhere I see one that's good. 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7. This is a nice one here. See, it's just going straight up, and those are kind of useless for peach trees. You notice that fruit-bearing trees tend to branch outwards, not straight upward. That's because they need room for the peaches to grow along the branches, just like that, and for the weight to be held pretty strongly. If you got a branch going straight up, the weight's just going to plow it over anyway. But if it's at an angle like this, that's a pretty nice one. You got room for the peaches to hang, dangle down, get more sunlight, just grow better. I'm going to go ahead and remove this little upstart here. Again, try to get a 45-degree angle. I didn't get it all the way down to the stem. That's okay, because I'm going to cut this stem off here in just a second. Here's another nice one right here. It even has little branches already, which is great. So we can just use that. And this one already has some little stems coming off of it, which hopefully could speed along the future growth. I'm going to give it a nice cut there, 45 degrees. We're all set. Here's another great example of the cross branching where they're touching each other right there. These 2 branches are hitting. I'd call this the master or primary branch right there. It's already got some stems and it had a lot of fruit last year. This one you can see from the color of the stem is relatively new. And for peach trees, the fruit grows on the new branches. But in this case, this one is just in the way, but it has value as a bare root. So I'm going to cut that back a couple of nodes and then go in and trim this off from the rest of the branch, just like that. And we'll see that'll make a nice little bare root right there. Very straight, several nodules there. Nice branching already starting, so we know it's a nice healthy stem. That'll be a great little peach tree someday. As you go along pruning your peach tree, you also see some damage. So I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to cut it right above the node, and then it'll branch out from that node. Now here you can see we actually have a crooked branch. It's curving in there. It's a nice curve. I'm going to go, even though it's new growth, I'm going to go ahead and cut that and use that as a bare root plant. I'm also going to go back and cut back a little to the southern node here. There's another node coming out just below that cut. I'm going to trim that off. Now here we come to one of the most interesting places on this peach tree. So I did not prune this peach tree ever since it's been in the ground for 2 seasons. And I also put some netting because I had a lot of birds out here last summer. Protected all the peaches, did not lose a single peach of the birds, but the netting over time kind of pulled the branches down. And some of them became deformed. You can see it's kind of doing a little elbow curve right there. But still great for use as a bare root plant. All I got to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut it back straight to the branch. Just like that. And then I'll trim that up later when I put it in the pot. Now here are some great examples of why you need to thin out your peach trees every season or two, or any fruit tree for that matter. A lot of clutter, a lot of branches crisscrossing and touching, still bearing fruit, but it can start to impact the quality of the fruit that you're getting on your peach tree. So this branch has a few little weak stems. I'm going to go ahead and cut those off, trim them back so they're not in the way. Like that, let them fall to the ground. They'll be recycled as clutter, debris. This is pretty good here. I have some new growth there, but I see some old growth here at the bottom of the branch. And sometimes it's usually better just to cut any branches off the bottom that are growing down towards the ground, because they can really drag the plant down and the fruit ends up hanging on the ground. It's rotted, attracts pests a little easier. It's not worth it. But this is a great example of a branch that yielded a lot of fruit last year. But, you know, its time has come and gone. Not really worth saving. See how it's snapping? So it's already dried out and dying. And probably not worth saving, so just get it out of the way. Again, I like to just put debris like this back beneath the peach tree, as long as it's clean and free of any disease. Let it just kind of naturally recycle itself over a few seasons. So we'll pitch it right in there. There is a branch, very nice one, but it's being supported by another branch right here. And usually I would cut this off, but it has a lot of nodes ready for fruit. So I'm just going to leave it there and use that branch as a support to help hold it up. And we'll see how that goes. That'll be our little experiment for the season. A few more of the side ones, little dead branches. Get rid of those. Get them out of the way so they won't steal any energy. Remember, the more branches you have on the plant, more energy it takes to support that. You can cut off those little ones that are in the process of dying or ones that are just in the way. Redirect that energy to the peaches themselves so you get a better quality fruit and a healthier tree overall. So it's good to prune. I try to prune every season, but since this was a new tree, I let it go for a couple of years just to see what happened. It did really good. I was really surprised. I think that's going to be a high value stem in the future, becoming a branch. So I'm going to leave that, see how it goes for the summer. And I can always trim it off next year. Again, it's a partial new growth. It's where the fruit's going to be. So we want to save as much of that as we can. Here's a little problem branch, which I hate to get rid of, but I think I do. It actually broke from the weight of the peaches. It had so many peaches on it last summer that it broke. So what I'm going to do is just cut it back to the next node behind it. Okay, we're looking good. We got a lot of the clutter out of the way. Still not perfect, but you know, it never will be. That's just the way it is. So we look good on this branch, on the back of the tree. The top of the tree looks pretty good. When the branches start to crack open like that, that's usually due to a rapid change in temperatures, especially in the winter. Not much you can do about it now, but you can help stop that by wrapping your trees, especially at the base, with tree fabric. That'll help reduce that a little bit, and makes it harder for pests to kind of chew into the tree as well. We've been pretty successful today trimming this peach tree. As I said, last year we got 70 peaches off this little magic wonder, and we're going to shoot for maybe a few less this season, but maybe they'll be a little bigger, a little healthier, and we'll have a full report on that at the end of the season, probably late July. So now we have a bucket full of cuttings right here. I'm going to go clean those up at the workbench and start potting our bare roots. I'll walk you through that.